All right, 99.9 Punk World Radio FM. You guys already know what time it is. And right here, we are back with another edition of Elite Wrestle Talk. And we're joined by legendary ECW original. We got Angel Medina of the Baldies right here, live on the radio station airwaves. Angel, how are you doing tonight?
Well, you definitely got to start off the show correctly, man. It's the Kingpin, Angel Medina, heavyweight champion, hardcore road trip champion. So when you address me, you have to address it entirely, not just in broken down in pieces. Let me drink my Sonic drink.
I got to admit, man, I am super jealous the Kingpin has some Sonic, man. Because I got to say, I had Sonic once, and you're never the same once you taste Sonic for the first time.
Do you have Sonic in Canada?
Unfortunately, we do not. I really wish we had it because I am serious. It is depressing. I went to Watertown, New York, got a bacon cheeseburger, and I'm telling you, my white ass cried a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, that was the best damn burger I ever tasted.
But it's funny. I had a buddy of mine. It's just so weird how Canadian people go, brother, my favorite drink is going to the Burger King and get the orange soda in the United States. And I'm like, what's so special about the orange soda? And they just pop for it. Like I said, I pop for things in Canada because we don't get it here, and I guess that's why we enjoy those things. And the same thing in the United States. Like you don't have Sonic. I thought you guys would have it. So if you get a Sonic out there, it's probably just go crazy.
Yeah, I think honestly though, when we get a Sonic down here in Canada, it'd be great for a while. Then we'd have it like so much. We'd have so much access to it that after a while it wouldn't be as hype anymore.
No, absolutely. I understand, man. But, Sonic is popping over here, so I totally understand.
Oh, yeah. But I do know you're a very busy individual. You're gearing up to actually come to Canada in less than 2 weeks at the GNW show, which I know we're going to get into that. But before we get into the current status of your legendary career, I got to take you back to when you were just the age 17, where you actually began your training with WWF legend Johnny Rodz. I was wondering, how did yourself and Johnny actually first meet? And of course, what was it like just stepping inside of a ring with him and training at the very young age of 17?
Well, training in wrestling back in the days was totally different compared to now. Johnny, I got involved with Johnny when he was on Good Day New York. They were doing a segment about professional wrestling, and they were at the world's famous Gleason's gym in Brooklyn. So they were just doing an interview, going through the motions, showing how how wrestling training occurs. So unfortunately, yeah, that's how I got like, oh wow, Johnny, because I was looking at other schools like the Hearts. I'm trying to remember because back in the days there was no internet, so I had to mail out for these things. I remember Stu Hart's school, the Monster Factory, and I'm trying to remember. I know I was sending out for some, and I got these pamphlets. So, and I'm like, well, I'm not gonna go to Canada. I'm 17 years old. That ain't gonna happen. Then, the Monster Factory with Pretty Boy Larry Sharp. That was still far away because I was in New Jersey. So like you said, like it's an hour, 2 hour trip on, on public transportation. So that didn't pan out. So I really didn't think I was going to do anything until I saw that segment on Good Day New York. Then when I saw that, I ran over there to Gleason's, met Johnny, sat down, talked about my, my goals, what I wanted to do, why I wanted to be a professional wrestler. And, he kind of basically interviewed me. And then, we came to an agreement on, how to pay. Because he knew I was a kid. Didn't have, I had money, but not money, paper route money, So I was on a payment plan. And guys at the school was like Taz, Mondo Clean, Hugh Morris, at the time, Big Sweet Williams, Big Vito, it was just tons and tons of like guys that you saw in WWE, WWF. After I got there, they kind of left and went on their merry way to do their career path. You know what I'm saying?
And also as well, Johnny also had an amazing illustrious career as well. I do know he was actually a part of the WWF way before it was actually even called the World Wrestling Federation.
No, Johnny was the captain of the ship of WWF. He was the go-to guy. He was a shooter. He was the guy that people, gave. Basically, Johnny was the guy. If you could get past Johnny, and with a with humbleness, and you were there to work, Johnny will give you the thumbs up. If he was there to try to prove something, Johnny would just grind you into the ground. I mean, they mentioned it in one of the WWE Hall of Fame panel with I can't remember who was on. I think it was Ted DiBiase and I just can't remember who was on the panel, but they were talking about Johnny in regards about he was the guy who would stretch you. So Johnny was a beast, and he still is a beast. No matter how old he is, he can still beat the crap out of you.
And I gotta say, it's actually good to hear that he's actually still going today. It sounds bad. Wrestling community has lost so many legendary individuals, so it's great to hear that Johnny is still sticking and moving even at the age he currently is today.
Oh no, yeah, absolutely. I mean, compared to Johnny when I was 17, yeah, I mean, he was more hands-on in the ring. He was really, I mean, he put the beating on you. I mean, now he's still hands-on, but of course he's at that age where he can't do the things that he used to do. I'm not saying because he's old, it's just because the undefeated champion of the world is Father Time, so I mean, he can't be doing the things he used to do when he was 40, 50 years old. So I mean, he has students to help train the other students, and he just watches and then critiques, but when it was him in the ring critiquing, hands-on, running the ropes, throwing the bag at you, it was a different breed of wrestlers compared to how it is now. I keep drinking the Sonic drink. It's so good.
I mean, I don't blame you, dude. I mean, straight up, drink it till it's absolutely dry, man. But also, in the year 1999, you actually joined ECW Extreme Championship Wrestling. I was wondering, how did you actually get that opportunity and get connected with Polly Dangerously, man? Because, I gotta say, ECW, the original ECW, was the pinnacle of wrestling. You guys did stuff that nobody has ever done in professional wrestling, especially back then.
Well, I mean, the reason I ended up at ECW was kind of more like a fluke. When I say a fluke, it was just things, it just fell into my hands. One of the wrestlers that I know, he was a manager. He was known as Java Shabibi. We were training at Gleason's. Now, prior to this, let's go back a little bit before I tell you the story. When it was, when we were in the ring at the time, when I came back, because I took a hiatus from wrestling, from training technically. And when I came back, Devon was, in the ring, Prince Nana, all those guys. We were young. Devon, he had a regular job like everybody else. He worked at the post office. He lived in New Rochelle, and we became good friends. And he was known as A-Train. That was his wrestling gimmick at the time. I was the Spanish Angel. Nana was still Prince Nana. And when ECW was looking for a Dudley, Johnny knew that Devon was the guy to go to. So that's when Devon left, to go become one of the Dudleys. So 2 years, roughly 2 years passed, maybe, roughly two. Java, again, back to Java, he was in the ring, and I'm like, hey, how you doing? What's going on? What you got, any plans this weekend? And it was like a Tuesday, and he was like, well, this Saturday I'm going to go to Philly. Devon's been asking me to come down to train to become a referee for ECW. Man, that's cool. Right on, man. Good for you. I'm proud of you. So then, as the day, days passed and stuff, it was it was Thursday. So I'm like, man, Saturday's almost around the corner, man. You probably gonna be heading down to Philadelphia, man. So then he was like, bro, I can't go this weekend. I said, why? He goes, my car broke down. So I said, are you serious? Oh yeah, it was something about whatever. Let's just say that the carburetor fell, messed up. So man, I'm sorry, dude. I mean, he goes, yeah, so I'm not going to go to Philly this week. Hey, bro, if it's okay with Devon, I'll be happy to drive you down if that's okay with him. So he was like, all right, let me call him. Let me ask him. So he called him. Devon said, yeah, you could come down. Tell him he should bring his stuff, his wrestling gear, and, come down and he could work out and stuff like that. So I showed up, met everybody, got in the ring with Guido. Tracy Smothers like, hey, you guys give me a 5-minute match. Boom, boom, boom. We wrestled for 5 minutes. It was a hell of a match. After that, they were like, hey, the doors are going to open to let in the fans. As I went through the back, I went through the curtain, and there's, right, as soon as you go through the curtain, there's Paulie, Sabu, and Rob Van Dam. And I guess they were going over something about a match and stuff like that. So as I was walking in, he looked up and he goes, hey, kid, come here. So when I went up to him, I said, yes, sir. He's like, hey, I like what I saw out there. Do me a favor, just stick around. And I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, just stick around, kid. So I went to Devon. Hey, D, you know, Paul called me over, but I don't get what he's talking about. You know, he said he saw my match, but he told me to stick around. He goes, hey, just stick around, man. If Paul tells you to stick around, I said, yeah, but D, I don't. Angel, trust me. If he tells you to stick around, stick around. So that's how my career took off. I just kept coming to the shows, showing my dedication to the company, setting up the ring, doing everything that Devon told me, Paul told me. You know, I was a soldier. So as time went on, we got an opportunity to work for the company. So if it wasn't for Devon was the one that made my career. Devon was the one that always looked out for me. You know, he's a straight shooter. He takes care of the boys. If you're part of his inner circle, he'll always look out for you. And he always did look out for me. You know, if things panned out, it panned out. If it didn't, it was a great opportunity. But it was always Devon putting his hand out to help me.
And also, as well, if I'm not mistaken, around this time, I always found around '99 to the end of ECW was a time that ECW had the most maximum exposure. They were getting really big pay-per-view deals. ECW was live on TNN. Like, it was an amazing time to be an ECW fan because it was in more households. It was on more television sets rather than just the Philadelphia area.
Yeah, but what about it?
Oh, I was just saying, like, it's a great exposure for any wrestler. You know what I mean? Like, you can be in the UK watching ECW, you can be in Canada watching ECW. I remember the early days; it was hard for me to watch ECW until it actually reached on TNN.
Well, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, ECW was the place to be at the time, and I was happy to get the opportunity to work with Paul, Sabu, Nova, great guy, Chris Chetty, Danny Doring. I mean, I love all those guys. Balls Mahoney, you know, Axel Rotten, you know, New Jack. You know, these are the guys that helped me become who I am. These are the guys that, regardless of the battles that we had, you know, made me a better wrestler. So, I mean, yeah, there's some guys that we had feuds with, but it made me a better wrestler and it gave me more confidence when I got in the ring. That's why when you talk about me coming to Canada and, you know, wrestling some guy who wrestles in some Canadian bingo hall and he's trying to make a name for himself to try to like promote, because he hasn't wrestled anybody. And the thing is, and I know I'm falling off script here, but he hasn't wrestled nobody. Finally, you know, Gentleman Jack gives him the opportunity, throws out my name, and he thinks it's like an easy way in to get exposure. So he's going to be surprised.
And I already know, because I said this to Jack when he first booked you and he told me about it, who you're going to be facing. I legit said, I'm like, you know, if Angel can survive New Jack, he can survive anything. And I'm telling you, you step in the ring with New Jack. I don't care who the opponent is. You already know the person that survived New Jack is definitely going to be going over.
Yeah, and that's the thing, man. See the word that you use, survived. Anybody who faces the Kingpin doesn't make it. Proof point right there. New Jack, 6 feet under. Yeah, we had battles. We beat each other, but guess who's still over here holding the gold? And all he's holding is dirt. So that's the thing, brother. You know, once you face me, it's traumatizing. You know, let's just say that Big Daddy wins this title. He's gonna go home. He's gonna look at his wife. He's gonna look. You ever saw the movie Thinner from Stephen King?
I have, yes.
That's what he's gonna look like. After a battle with me, he's gonna be depleted. He's gonna be drained. He's gonna realize, my God, I mean, I'm at the verge of death. Even though I can't hold this title up, Angel just took me to a level that I never would have experienced. So, I mean, once you face me, man, it's just signing your death warrant, man. I don't know why he's willing to do that.
And speaking of New Jack as well, I have to ask, man, obviously, you know, you feuded with him on who it was the King of the Streets, and we all know the King of the Streets is a legendary Angel Medina, but I have to ask, what was it like just during that time being able to wrestle New Jack, man, because he was one crazy son of a bitch.
Well, you know what? Let me show you something before. Let me put this belt down. Let me give you something else. That's right, brother. This is the King of the Streets heavyweight title. I still have it. Has New Jack's name on it. I'm not BSing. It's right there, you know. Kingpin Angel. Oh, upside down. Hate these cameras. See Angel, there's New Jack. What? There's New Jack right there. You know what I'm saying? King of the Streets, baby. I still hold that title, you know, but, you know, let me put back the original back on the shoulder right here. But the thing is this. I love Jack. Again, regardless, once we step in the ring, we're enemies. Once we got out of the ring, we showed each other respect. And I'll always have respect for him because, like I said, he put me through hell. you know, and but he was a great guy, man. He was there to help you. He was there to guide you. You know, I feel sad that he's gone. But again, once you face me, man, it's a burden on your body, man. Your body gets traumatized.
It's only a matter of time, man. It's only a matter of time before the angel curse creeps up on you, man. Once you step in the ring, that's it. It's only one destined, and that has to be, gone. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
Yeah, I know. And, I mean, like I said, Big Daddy Oreo, I mean, last time I saw him, he was on you ever saw the movie Blade when he was like laying in the bed, like Frost, Blade is here, the big old titty. That's him right there. That's what's going to happen after he loses. He's going to lay in bed, get fat, and then I'm going to walk in the door and he's going to go, Gentleman Jack, Angel's here. Oh, just hang up on him, So I really don't know, man.
I gotta say though, you know what I mean? I do know it's gonna be one hell of a great match between you two, but we already know who is going to come over in this match, and it's definitely gonna be yourselves.
That's true, because I don't have to beat him. He has to beat me. I just have to hold on to this title, which it will be easy. But that's the thing. I don't have nothing to gain. He'll just be another person that I beat. Who? And then people be like, Angel, I heard you was in Canada. What was his name again? Big Daddy Cool? No. The Big Papa Pump? No. It wasn't that. That's all it is. They're not gonna remember who he was. But if he beat me, and I'm just saying if, then Mike, you beat the Kingpin, you beat Angel. He'll get it tattooed on his chest. He'll be like Danny Trejo with my picture on his chest, so his wife could look at it and rub her face on it.
And one of the very last ECW questions I do have, and because I do know you joined the company in '99 and you were there until the very end in April 2001. I was wondering if you can tell us a bit more about your very last night at the ECW arena, and did yourself and the rest of the locker room have any idea what was going on business-wise behind the scenes? Did you guys think there was going to be another match or another show afterwards, or did you guys kind of know that this is the end?
The problem with that story is that, I mean, it's hard for me to remember the last show at the arena, because the point is, Paul, and I'm not saying he given us a false hope. It was not that. He was just keeping us, just like Gladiator. He was just, giving us that rah, Spartans, what is your profession? I mean, he was just giving us that speech. So all the rumors, remember, there was the internet. But I mean, it was like at the beginning, you know what I mean? So it was not like how it is now when you look on the sheets and you hear all the rumors. We just heard the rumors, and Paul's like, "Don't worry about it, everything's fine." We're family, so we believe that. We really, really trusted Paul. And like I said, he did his best to keep the company afloat. Yeah, we give him ribs about the company went under. He owes us a lot of money, but we just try to keep the humor, because that's all we have. But like I said, Paul did what he could do. He had to look out for his family. He had to jump on the opportunity to go to WWE. And I don't hold nothing against him. It was an opportunity that nobody else would have given me. And Paul saw the talent in me. So, all I could do is just say thank you. Do I wish ECW would have continued like a TNA? Because, TNA was always an up and down, up and down, up and down. Impact, TNA, nonstop. You know what I mean? It was just keep changing. Yeah. But, and it's still, my goal was, I wanted to be at a point in my career where I was sitting behind commentary, not getting as fat as Taz, but just getting, behind the mic and announcing matches and, doing commentary, so that's what I wanted to be. I wanted Paul to see me as like, man, he was with me to the end. And I was just holding out, but things didn't pan out the way it was supposed to.
And speaking of commentary, man, the one person I always remember finally is Joey Styles. I know after ECW, he did a little stunt in WWE and then absolutely disappeared. I would kill to have Joey Styles back and just hear him announce one more event again, man, because Joey Styles, in my opinion, is like the voice.
Oh, dude, Joey Styles is awesome, man. I don't know where the hell he's at. I'm not saying he's upset or bitter. You know, I mean, it's another chapter in his life that he's probably flourishing, and you know, he's probably an owner of something. But Joey always put me over. Joey was always like, he made me look like $1,000,000 every time he announced my name. You know, and I wish he was still in the business. I could visually see him in AEW. I could visually see him in TNA, man. I mean, he has the voice. People love him. And I just wish he was still in the business. Hell of a guy. Hell of a guy.
And not to mention, a lot of those early ECW days, and even the right near the end as well, a lot of those events were him literally announcing the entire show by himself, which honestly is unheard of normally within wrestling, man, and very difficult to take a whole show and be the announcer, because you don't get a lot of time to actually stop and like to take a breath or have a drink, like, you know what I mean? There's no one to feed off of. It's 100% you calling that, and he literally did it so perfectly and so flawlessly.
No, I agree, man. He hold it up on his own, man. The man is legendary. Yeah, when they put Joe Gertner with him, it was just, you know, a compliment. You know, there's nothing. It was just like Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan, you know, Jerry Lawler and oh my God, I'm getting a brain fart. Not JB.
Jim Ross.
Jim Ross. Thank you. Too many chair shots. That CTE is kicking in. But yeah, man, it's just like I said, man. I could never put Joey over. I mean, because every time I say something, it just doesn't give him the justice, man. The guy is just legendary, and I wish he was still around too. And you know, the funny thing, we have this conversation, and I don't care what's going to happen, but if it's a year, 2 years, next week, next month, if he makes an appearance, you know, I won't be surprised, because I just cannot see him not showing up eventually.
I 100% agree. I mean, especially because everyone knows Joey Styles absolutely loved the wrestling business. So especially in 2024, this is a great time to be a wrestling fan. You know, TNA is working with WWE. You got AEW doing their thing and flourishing. You know, we got Great North Wrestling doing our thing. You know, bringing amazing, legendary talent like yourself. Like, this is a great time to be a wrestling fan, man. So I can definitely see Joey Styles popping up at some point, just poking his head in there, being like, "Hey, I'm here too."
No, so I'm looking at my watch because Gentleman Jack just texted me and he sent me a link on my phone. So I was trying to see if he's watching the show live. You know, because again, he's another one that's just like, oh, you know, Big Daddy Oreo, he got your number, and he's always watching my interviews because he's trying to figure stuff out. So that's why I was like, what the hell is he texting me for? So, you know, sorry about that.
Oh no, it's all good, man. Definitely shout out to Jack as well. You know, shout out to Jack. But also, when you were semi-retired as well, I do know that you actually became a police officer out there in Wichita, Kansas. I was wondering what ultimately actually made you decide to venture into the police academy and step away from wrestling for a little bit.
Well, first of all, I didn't semi-retire. There's no such thing as retiring in wrestling. What happened is because of September 11th. You know, when the towers fell, that killed the business. And there was no work for the boys. And I'm not knocking myself. There was not any room for me to be part of the stable of WWE or WWF. So when I kept trying to get myself going, it was just nothing was happening. So I had to get a job. I had to make that money. You know, I don't have that white privilege like you, where you have your dad's trust fund and you can live off, you know, those royalties and stuff like that. I don't have that opportunity. I had to get a job. You know, I had to get a job. Hey, you said radio personality right on the screen. That means that you're making money. But anyway, don't get off topic. Let's just keep on track. Focus. The thing is this. You know, I had to get a job. I had to make money. You know, even though I had some money saved from wrestling, I didn't want to deplete it. So the thing I did, I applied for the police department. So, you know, then I just started, you know, working and doing that. And then I started getting fat, you know, not eating donuts. I would just sit in that patrol car, just getting fat. And all of a sudden I started looking like Taz, no neck, you know. People thought I was sleeping because, you know, I couldn't breathe. I had that big old just breathing heavy and shit. You know, so I had to lose weight. So that's the key thing, man. I just had to get back in shape. But yeah, Wichita Police Department. I was a cop there. I was a cop in a small local town. I was a correction officer. I did bodyguard work. I did private investigation. So I got into the law enforcement aspect really hard. And then I just decided, then when things started getting better, of course, between those times I was wrestling again. But I mean, at this point in my life, I don't really care about it anymore. Not saying care, but I'm at a point where it is what it is. You know what I mean? WWE is not going to call me. I'm 52, unless it's working as an agent or behind the scenes. But I'm not, I'm not this guy. I'm not Ric Flair. I'm not Hacksaw Jim Duggan. There's certain individuals that could do it because it just falls in that groove. Are you digging your hands in a bag of potato chips? All I hear is rustling over there.
Oh no, I got all my questions written down in a notebook. Yeah.
I listen even though I'm talking. I hear that.
Yeah, it's all my questions are in a notebook. What I normally do is I write them all down. That way, if I get the opportunity, say 3 years from now, to get the chance to talk to you again, I know to never ask the same question. I never ask the same question twice.
Understandable.
I will admit, I don't normally show that on live. I normally keep the whole notebook thing to myself. So people that watch these interviews, you gotta, now you know how I know all these research questions. I always write them down, but everyone got an exclusive on that one. But also, aside from your phenomenal wrestling career in ECW, you also had the opportunity to wrestle in IWA, where you actually won the Hardcore Championship on 8 separate occasions. I was wondering if you can tell us a bit more about your IWA run, and of course, what was it like just wrestling out there in Puerto Rico?
Well, Puerto Rico is my hometown. I'm Puerto Rican. My family's from there. I was born in Brooklyn, so I'm not from the island. That was a plus, man. I loved working in Puerto Rico. I loved Victor Quinones. Savio was good to me. He doesn't like me because of what happened, but Glamour Boy Shane, great guy. I mean, it was just an awesome locker room. Even Invader, man, the guy, even though he stabbed Bruiser Brody, man, he was he was decent to me. So, but again, I didn't want to end up in the shower with my guts in my hand, so I always try to keep it humble, so I kind of stayed away from the man. I just nodded my head once in a while because I didn't want to get shivved in the back like a prison movie. But the thing is that it was great. I just had a lot of heat with Dutch Mantel. There's no love lost. Everybody knows I can't stand the man's guts. I can't wait till the motherfucker dies. That's a straight shoot. And that's it. It's just that we had a little altercation in Puerto Rico where we didn't agree on something and I didn't keep my mouth shut, meaning I had a right to speak my mind and he didn't like it. And he I left. I said, fuck this. I don't need this shit. And so then he got his revenge. He got his revenge when I was supposed to go to TNA. Things happen for a reason, but I was supposed to be the original LAX for that. Me and Homicide was supposed to be tagging. That's a straight shoot. That's a true story. I was in I'm not mad. It is what it is. I mean, Hernandez is a great guy, but it fell in his lap on the right time. But what happened was Homicide called me. Well, no, my friend Louis called me, asking Homicide was looking for me. Got Homicide's number, called him. He goes, hey man, Papi, we need somebody to come down here to, be part of LAX. We got Machete, but he's out the door. We need a big guy, and that's how Homicide talks, and I think you make a great asset. I know you since day one. So you'd be interested. And I said, yeah, who's the booker? Oh, Savio Dutch. Oh, fuck, bro. I was like, motherfucker. So then I had to speak with Terry Taylor. Devon was putting in the word for me because Devon called me and said, bro, what the fuck's up with you and Dutch, man? He was like, no, he don't want you here. And I'm like, fuck him, because the fact is that he's mad because I told him off and now he's getting his revenge because he's the booker in TNA at the time and he's able to, control the pencil. And he said he didn't want me, so they had to go with Hernandez. Still a great choice, but that's the reason. That's why, things, it's just funny. Like when you watch wrestling and you watch like guys like, like joking around like the Midnight Express and the Fantastics and the Horsemen, and you find out like, let's say that, oh, dude, I heard that there was a story that the Steiner brothers was going to be part of the Four Horsemen. And they go, really? He goes, yeah, but this happened. And then they decided to go with Paul Roma and somebody else. You never know behind the scenes, there's stories, until you just looked at like, really? You was going to be in LAX? Not too many people knew that story.
Man, the whole time when you were actually telling me that story, I was picturing in my head you being a part of LAX. And I will say this. I think you would be a phenomenal asset on there. Obviously, clearly they thought the same thing as well, man. But I can just picture you in the LAX just kicking ass, tearing up TNA, man. I'm picturing that, and I really wish somehow we can like alter time and make that happen, man, because that would have been freaking amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Either way, it went well, man. If I would have been in it, it would have been great. Hernandez, like I said, nothing against the guy. He's a hell of a talent. It fell in his lap at the right time. It was just not my time. So, you know, like I said, either crossroads that you look at in regards to, like if Angel would have been in LAX and Hernandez would have been in LAX, both would have been legendary, you know, and because me and Hernandez kind of are similar. You know, I mean, yeah, he does the Supermax flying out the ring, and I don't do that. But I mean, we do have similar styles, so I mean, it's not that far off to see how the road would have panned out.
And also as well, June 29th, so just in a matter of 2 weeks, you will be crossing the border and partaking in Great North Wrestling Schools Out event in Napanee, Ontario, where you will be defending your hardcore road trip title against a Big Daddy D-Roy, or as we can call him tonight, Big Daddy Oreo. I was wondering, what can the fans actually expect from this epic title match? And of course, since Big Daddy D-Roy is probably right now watching this ordeal, do you have anything you want to say to your opponent come 2 weeks? Because I know 2 weeks he's going to get a royal ass whooping.
Well, the first thing I want to tell my fans, I ain't crossing the border because I ain't Mexican. I'm flying to I got my passport. I got papers. So I ain't crossing no border illegally. I'm coming in there to whoop some ass. The thing is that I'm excited, bro. I love Canada, you know. I mean, I've been a fan of Canada since, when I got there from London, Ontario, 2013. And then I hooked up with my boy Trudeau, before he became the prime minister. We kicked it back then. Now that he has power, man, he's always keeping in touch with me, always telling me, asking me how I'm doing. When he found out I was coming to Canada, he was like, brother, we got to hook up, because we haven't hung out for a while. So I'm excited to see him. And, and wrestle for the Canadian people. I mean, like I said, I love the food. I love the people. They always treated me right. And the reason why they treated me right is, and what I have love for Canada is the day that hardcore road trip issue happened where none of the wrestlers were able to go to the airport. The guy skipped out with the money, and the Canadian fans, got together to make sure each wrestler made it home safe. And that's why I love you guys, because regardless if I'm a babyface, regardless if I'm a heel, no matter what it is, man, I still have that passion for Canada, because they could have left me fucking stuck in London. I'm not saying I would have not got back, but it's like going, regardless if it's United States or Ontario, but let's say, we were like in Japan, and you're in Japan and you get stranded. You know how to get to the airport, but you still have that little fear, like, fuck, I'm in a foreign country, man. I don't know these motherfuckers. You just have this weird, like, nervousness, like, how I'm going to figure this out. That's all it is. So that's all the rest of it, but we weren't scared. We were just like, fuck, man, how are we going to figure this shit out now? And that's, like I said, that's why I have that passion for Canada, man. You guys never let me down, and I appreciate you for that. Now, hold on a second. I got to get my palate ready, because once you eat some Oreos, it keeps you dry. It gets you dry. You ain't able to talk. So I have to put a little quenchingness into my throat. Let me explain something to you. The funny thing about Big Daddy Oreo, like I told you before, this guy is just barking up the wrong tree. He's realizing that the only opportunity he's ever going to get to make a name for himself is to wrestle the Kingpin. And he's thinking that it's just an easy road to victory. And he has another thing coming. I've watched his videos. I've seen him in action. There's nothing special about him. Yeah, he's a big guy. He's strong. He's agile. He's fat. He's sweaty. He smells like bacon. But the point is, he doesn't have that one thing that a lot of wrestlers have, is a killer instinct. He comes in there like Mantar, rah, rah, banging his chest, rah, rah. I'm the beast. I'm the killer. No, I'm not saying you're not, bro. But the fact is, you keep thinking that people keep going in the air like, oh, you can win. You're the greatest. Your wife tells you in the bedroom, you're the greatest. You're wonderful. But you're not realizing when you come home, I'm leaving out the back door. That's the reason why she's giving you all these false hopes. So the thing is this, brother. June 29th. I'm giving you a week and a half to pull out. The same way that your dad should have pulled out a long time ago is the same way you should pull out now. It's not worth it. You have a big career ahead of you. Don't risk it by wrestling me. Because when it's all said and done, and this is not a promo, this is my brother. This is fact. If you don't pull out, then that Friday, you better go to your parents' house, have a big meal, kiss them, hug your wife. If you have kids, hug them, because that's the last time you're going to be eating solid food. You're going to be ended up in some type of facility, strapped to a chair, being food fed, you know, oatmeal, yogurt, all that stuff. And you're going to sit there with your jaw wired shut like, man, I should have listened to the Kingpin. So look, be ready. But I'm just giving you that opportunity to pull out. But if you don't, a lot of shit's going to come at you. That's a straight shoot.
And you know what, there, Angela, if he doesn't pull out and he does get his jaw wired shut, all you have to do is send him a nice little gift package of a blender and a couple boxes of Oreos. That way he can still have his Oreos.
Make those Oreo shakes, you know, those little, you know, Sonic does have Oreo shakes, you know, so I might send him a special gift basket and stuff, you know.
But I gotta say as well, I know the fans have been asking as well, will we actually see an infamous ECW variation table spot at GNW? Because I know a lot of the fans have been asking me to mention this to you, that they would love to see Big Daddy D-Roy get put through a table.
Bro, I'm strong, but I'm not that strong. You ever see the Blob when you try to lift up the Blob and all that fat just like overlaps your hand, like you're getting eaten by all that gelatin? I don't know if I could pick that up, man, because that's a lot of blubber to fucking pull up, man. You know, just like it's trying to lift up a water bed. You know, like when you pick up a bed, it's a solid piece of mass. But when you try to pick up a waterbed, it's just jiggly and it's just awkward and all the weight shifts. You know, that takes a lot of strength, and I don't think I got that. So unless Big Daddy Oreo decided to go, you know, the thin Oreos, you know, thin Oreo cookies and lose weight, then I could do it. But until then, I don't know if there's gonna be a table spot.
Hey, well, you know what? At the end of the day, us fans can dream. But definitely, maybe he'll just bring one out and fall into it. Who knows? You never know, right?
Hey, you never know. Like the Big Show when he got kicked and his foot went through the table. Yeah.
I will admit, still to this day, man. Me and my friends when I was younger, man. I was saying, like, I always thought about wrestling as a business aspect. I'm like that it was not supposed to happen. That was a botch. And my friends were like, "Oh no, that was supposed to happen. That was part of the show." I'm like, "Fuck no, man! Like that was a botch, man. Like that facial expression was, oh fuck, like." I'm not supposed to lose this title right now. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, no, it's like a lot of them. Like, there's some matches that I think I saw it on YouTube where there's like botch matches that, you know, somebody was supposed to win the title, you know, or retain the title, and then the ref count the three, and they're like, and you can see their face like that was not supposed to happen. And the other person's like, yes, I'm the champ, you know, because he had to work the angle. So it's just funny how it is, you know.
And I think the biggest conspiracy, I would say, people said that Undertaker was not supposed to actually lose his streak at WrestleMania 30, that he got knocked out or something like that. But then I've heard other times that it was supposed to go down like that. I still don't know, but if he did get knocked out and whatnot, it's definitely believable because Brock Lesnar is pretty wild in that ring.
I don't know, man. I never heard anything otherwise from the boys. You know, if that was supposed to be a straight shoot that he got knocked out. But Undertaker's one of those guys that just, you know, will probably let you. I think it was his time. I mean, maybe he realized it was his time and it was a good opportunity. I really, to be honest with you, I really wish that they would have done a Sting versus Undertaker match because they lost the opportunity to get the icon Sting and you know the Phenom as some like I could have visually think about it. I could be a good promoter. I would have done a Halloween Havoc, you know, type of thing, just to give it that you know the Undertaker, the Dead Man, the Crow Sting. I would have definitely been, you know, my favorite match at Halloween Havoc was Spin the Wheel, Make the Deal. That was the best, and I think that's. You know, I think that would have been a hell of a match. And you know, WrestleMania, yeah, but I think if they would have done it around that time, I think it would have been the same thing. It would have been worth it.
Man, one of my favorite Halloween Havoc matches was actually Eddie Guerrero versus Chavo Guerrero, hair versus hair match. I remember that back in those days, man.
I thought you were gonna say like the one when Abdullah the Butcher got electrocuted in the electric chair. I forgot the hell not Hell
And
in a Cell.
that is a solid number two. I mean, I've never been a huge fan of Abdullah the Butcher, so that was satisfying. Obviously, we all know he really didn't get electrocuted. That was obviously a shoot, but us fans, that really do know, we can envision it and pretend it's really happening. But hair versus hair, Eddie versus Chavo, honestly, one of my absolute favorites, man. I found just, uncle and nephew going at it, man. Such a phenomenal contest. And I was a huge fan of the cruiserweight division in WCW, man. I really felt like they never got the recognition that it truly deserved. I knew, obviously, they were really keen on the NWO and the big guys, but that cruiserweight division they had in WCW was absolutely phenomenal.
And the funny thing is, the reason why the cruiserweight was so phenomenal was because they were the ones going after the ECW talent, like Rey Mysterio, Psychosis, all those guys that were wrestling there. Is WCW, it caught their eye, and so they're not the originators. ECW was, and they just decided to take it and run with it. So fuck WCW.
I agree, man. I agree. They if you weren't NWO, literally, even in the back of the locker room, they didn't give a crap about you, which was one of the biggest things that I hated, because they had so much amazing talent over there that they got overlooked just because they weren't wearing an NWO shirt. That's why the Radicals, Dean Malenko, Perry Saturn, Chris Benoit, Eddie, all jumped ship all at once, man, and I don't blame them for leaving in 2000 and going to WWF when the opportunity arose.
No, absolutely, man. I mean, it's all about the money, man. You got to grab that money as fast as you can, because, like I said, time is endless, and before you know it, you're in your 50s, 60 years old, realizing, damn, time flew by.
And also, before we actually wrap things up, man, obviously June 29th, as we spoke about, you're going to be in Canada. You're going to be flying first class, Air Canada first class. You're going to be here in Napanee kicking ass, arriving, raising hell, and then leaving back to America. But I have to ask, aside from GNW, what is next for yourself? Is there anything we happen to miss during this interview? Anything else you do still want to talk about or promote? Because I do know you and Gentleman Jack run a phenomenal Shooting from the Hip podcast on YouTube as well that has phenomenal conversations nightly.
Well, I'm real selective on what I do in regards to like shows. I really am picky now. I really don't do as many as I. It's just I don't have. I'm not saying I don't have the passion. I'm at a point in my life that I could be picky if I want to be, and some shows are not worth my time. So again, not knocking the promotion. It's just that's how I feel. So I love doing my podcast. I'm trying to find other avenues to promote myself. Luke Hawks is doing movies. Tommy Dreamer's doing movies. Everybody's doing movies. Everybody's doing other things because, you can't keep doing this forever. My body hurts and stuff like that. It's just, I'm just trying to enjoy the life that I have and just do shows that I feel like it's fun to go. Like I said, I love to come to Ontario. I've never been to Napanee. There are a lot of blacks in Napanee because there's a lot of nappy people in the United States. I figured little nappy black kids. Just joking.
I will admit, in Napanee, I'm not 100% sure. I do know Ottawa and Toronto. There is a lot. Me personally, I don't see color. Everyone is all equal to me. So I don't really know. I don't really know. I'm just saying I really don't notice. But I mean.
But it's Napanee like a suburb of small town environment, or is it like a big city like Toronto, right? Like that.
It's a small town environment. The most biggest city next to it is Kingston, which is I would say Kingston's about 20 minutes away. But it's more of a small town environment.
Gotcha. Just wondering.
So very historic buildings. If you take a drive downtown Napanee, very historic buildings, very nice architecture. I mean, it's actually a very nice, beautiful little town.
Right on, there you go. I mean, I'm excited to go. Like I said, I was just curious if it was a little suburban town. I want to go to the town where the guys from Strange Brew's from. You ever saw that movie?
Oh, yeah, Strange Brew, yeah. I literally, my God, his name, the guy from the Ghostbusters and whatnot. I know, Rick Moranis, there we go. I would literally kick my ass live on the air if I did not remember Rick Moranis.
The McKenzie brothers.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the best Canadian duos ever, man. Literally, you can never go wrong with Rick Moranis and the McKenzie brothers.
Oh, yeah, I love that movie. Yeah, I haven't seen it in a long time, but I like, want a beer, eh?
And we really do talk like that. When we get hammered, we really do talk like that. So that's definitely not a Canadian pun.
No, but you know what's funny? It's just like the United States. It's like the further north you go, like from New York to Boston to Maine, the accent gets stronger. And when I was joking with some of my friends, it's like, yeah, the further you go up in Canada, the stronger the accent gets. You know.
Yeah. I think a lot of the Newfoundland people. I mean, don't strangle me, guys, but at the end of the day, the Newfoundland people, they have a very unique, different accent that you'll sit there and be like, wait, is this like the Alabama of Canada? Like what?
Oh yeah, if you go to Tennessee, you go to Tennessee and they talk, it's a lot of gibberish. I hate saying it, but you got to like really, really pay attention and just catch what words you can catch and try to put it together.
It's literally a never-ending puzzle piece conversation-wise. You're kind of like, damn, I think that's what he said. I'm just going to roll with it.
Hey, listen to this. She said try to make it to the end. Didn't make it.
But Angel, before we part ways tonight, man, I got to ask, because obviously I know how to follow you on social media, because of course it's how we connected and how we set this interview up and made it possible. Well, for the fans that are not that social media savvy, that literally do want to follow not only yourself and your wrestling career, but of course your amazing podcast as well, how do we go about following the hardcore road trip champion, Angel Medina, the King Pin?
Well, I mean, you can find me on, Facebook at Angel L. Medina in brackets, Junior. You can also find me on Instagram, a.medina262. Also, you can find me on Twitter as ECW ECW Baldy Angel. You can find me there. Oh, it's really X now. But yeah, man, I'm easily found, man. I don't try to keep myself, hidden. It's just that I don't socialize too much on social media because that's how you end up in Facebook jail. So I just decided to I really don't talk much. I mean, if you reach out to me, I respond. But anytime you post something on TV on the internet, all of a sudden 2 months later, you violated this policy. And what the hell did I violate? Yeah. Like one time I got in trouble. I went to end up in Facebook jail because I shared. This is the funny part. I shared somebody's post that I thought it was funny. And they say I violated it. But I'm like, how am I violating it? I just shared something that somebody posted. It's not like I did it on purpose. I just liked it. So I figured you guys approved it. So I'm going to Facebook jail because I shared it. I'm like, forget that. So that's when I just decided to not really put stuff up anymore.
Yeah, Facebook community standards, whatever they want to call it, is absolutely whack, man. I've had my fair share of them as well. I think I got 3 or 4 strikes on Facebook, and I'm literally like, wow. So now I just try and keep it strictly radio station and not really post anything. If I see a funny meme, I'll laugh at it and keep scrolling. But Facebook, no, they're not going to get me on that.
Yeah, and I don't know, dude. I just stay off it. And sorry, I'm just looking at the screen because Rob Feinstein, he just posted in a little thing. We were just talking about ECW. ECW to come back, ? So I was like, what the hell is he talking about? So I heard stories that they're thinking about bringing ECW back. But it doesn't matter.
I will say it's definitely not going to be like the original, and if they do bring it back, for the love of God, please do not do what WWE did back in 2006. I mean, they tried, but it was definitely not ECW, man. Just because you put ECW logo on something does not make it ECW. The only good thing I feel that WWE did ECW-wise was the one-night stand shows they did in 05 and 06. That's the only 2 good shows they actually put on when they rebrought it back.
The only thing I don't like about the new ECW at the time is that I heard stories that they were only putting the guys on the original ECWs to get the new ECW guys over. So if Sabu was there, and then the Vampire Dude, and the Vampire Dude won, it was putting the guy over, and then they kicked Sabu out. They were just trying to give some legitimacy to that character. Fuck that.
And I think they did the same thing with Sandman as well. I heard a story that Sandman was actually over there in the new ECW, and he got I think it was he had a cigarette in his mouth. Wasn't even lit. The cigarette was not lit, but he was sitting on the plane getting ready to get off, and they fired him for having an unlit cigarette in his mouth. It's freaking Sandman. The guy was getting ready to have a dart, dude. Yeah. Sandman. So it wasn't lit. If it was lit, okay. You know what I mean? I'm still going to be Team Sandman because I love that guy, but realistically, it wasn't lit. But they fired him for something like that. I think they just brought them in, like you said, used them, got people over, and found a reason to get rid of them whenever they got their other new guys over.
No, I agree, and that's the problem. I mean, you know, everybody knew Sam that was Sandman's gimmick, cigarettes drinking. You know, all of a sudden you're shocked. Like, what the fuck are you talking? You know, like, are you serious, motherfucker? You know,
Yeah.
that don't make any sense. But it's whatever, man. WWE, WWF, that's how they are, man. It's just that's the beast. You know.
But I gotta say, first and foremost, Angel, thank you so much for giving not only myself, but the radio station airways a bit of your time here tonight, man. It was such an honor speaking with such a legendary ECW original like yourself, man. You've done phenomenal things in the wrestling industry, and I gotta say, thank you for putting your body on the line many times for crazy wrestling fans like myself, you know. It was such an honor being able to grow up watching you, and I'll definitely see you in a week and a half, man, in Napanee, Ontario at GNW. I'll be around, running around on the floor with a chick with my head cut off, trying to make sure everything's all good on the floor.
Well, as long as you come up to me with a box of poutine, you know, because I'll probably be hungry. So, you know, don't come empty-handed, you know.
Hey, man, I'll bring you a poutine. I don't know what the best poutine is in Napanee, so people that are watching, let me know if you're in Napanee, what is the best poutine to get Angel Medina, because I want to make sure I get him the proper poutine, not some crappy Burger King stuff. We want like the real poutine.
Absolutely, man. I'm flying in on the 28th, man. So, you know, me and Gentleman Jack are probably doing some stuff. We're gonna do poutine. You know who has the best. We're gonna do a little taste test gimmick. So we're gonna have fun, man. That's the best part.